Let's see what Google says what a gradient is. In mathematics, the gradient is a multivariable generalization of the derivative. Yeah, that. All you need to know is that gradient is a slope. It can be an uphill, a downhill, or a flat surface. Like this video if you like that definition better. Gradient is represented by the letter M, little m. And no, it doesn't stand for anything. They literally just picked a random letter and it just happens to be M. I did do a little research on it. Here's the proof. If from left to right you are walking uphill, then the gradient is positive or increasing. If from left to right you are walking downhill, then it's a negative or decreasing gradient. If there is no hill, then the gradient is 0. You may have noticed sometimes that there are numbers involved when talking about gradient. These numbers are very straightforward. They just tell you how steep the hill is. The more in the positive the number, the steeper the uphill. The more the negative the number, the steeper the downhill. A flat surface is still 0. It's neither positive nor negative. I will cover how to find those numbers in the next video, so make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you don't miss it when it comes out. For this video though, I'm going to focus on the main ideas. Let's have a look at some examples now. Consider this straight line graph. Picture yourself on the left side of the graph. As you move to the right, are you walking uphill or downhill? In this case, you're walking downhill, so the gradient will be negative. It also looks to be very steep, so we would expect it to be a very negative gradient. Let's find out what it actually is. -3, exactly what we thought. Let's try another example. Let's picture ourselves on the left side of the graph again and walking towards the right. In this case, we are moving uphill, so the gradient is going to be positive. However, the hill is not very steep, so we would expect a small positive gradient. Let's find out what it actually is. A +1/2. Perfect. You might be thinking, well, that's all good and well, but what if the line isn't straight? What if it's a curve? That is a great question. You pretty much do the exact same thing, but there is one key difference. Have a look at this parabola. Imagine yourself standing on the left side of the graph, walking towards the right. You can clearly see that you're walking down a very steep hill at first, but then you start flattening out towards the bottom, and now you are walking uphill and it keeps getting steeper as you go further right. Then the question is, what is the gradient of the parabola? Well, remember how I said there was one key difference between gradients of straight lines and curves? The key difference is that straight lines have a constant gradient, while curves have variable gradients. Let me demonstrate. Notice how the gradient changes at different points on the curve. It goes from a large negative number, and then as it gets closer to the middle, the gradient becomes less negative because it's not as steep of a downhill anymore. Then right in the middle, it is completely flat, so the gradient is 0. As we go to the right, it is now positive, and it gets more and more positive as the slope gets steeper. Here's another curve. We're just going to have some fun observing the gradient at different points here. If you find my explanation easy to understand and you have been looking for a maths tutor to help you pass your next exam, then consider visiting my website in the description below to see if we are right for each other. Comment below with the topic that you would like to understand next.